Hi, and welcome to Something for the Weekend, brought to you as always by Together 2012. We're based in the main Paralympic coast borough of Newham in East London. We're a social enterprise and community company led by disabled artists. I'm Ju Gosling, also known as the Artist G90. With me, where she's been for a very, very, very long time now, is our chair, the artist and activist, Julie Newman, who's shielding with me in our studio in Canning Town. The other end of our long virtual wheeled sofa, we have our co-hosts, and I think we're going to go to them for some introductions, some audio description, and also do tell us what you're dressing up to go out to do this week, because whatever we're going to do, you've obviously beaten it.
Hello, I'm Tracy Surgeoner, and yes, we're in our Sutton Coldfield studio up here in the West Midlands.
Loud, Tracy. If we could just turn it down fractionally, Robin.
Okay, and behind us we have our red velvet curtains. So I will describe myself. Today I've got my hair in a really high ponytail, my long blonde hair. I've got my sunglasses on my head. I've got pale skin, blue eyes, and today I am wearing a beige. No, it's not beige. It's like a bronzy beigey fur coat, 3/4 sleeves with a black long sleeve t-shirt underneath, and a pair of leopard print trousers in a beige and a black. And today I am dressed up to go out to stay in to launch my winter fashion collection.
And I think you're very well placed to do that, possibly just fractionally too loud. So bear that in mind. Robin, who are you? What do you look like? And what are you dressed up to go out to stay in to do?
I'm not sure I like the aspersions in the tone. However, I am dressed up to be I am an aging biker. I'm wearing sorry, I'll start at the top. I have rather dishevelled grey hair, like I should have. I am wearing very dark sunglasses. I am unshaven, and I am wearing a leather waistcoat, ensuring that my biker tats are showing appropriately, obviously. And I'm wearing
Combat trousers.
combat trousers, biker combat trousers, suitable for getting astride the Harley Davidson, which I don't own, to go to the Easy Rider reunion at the National Association of Disabled Bikers that isn't actually happening.
Well, we wish it was. We do wish it was. Okay, so back to East London. Behind us, we have our Together graffiti banner. You can see the full image on our website, www.together2012.org.uk. But it's covered in images of the different art forms we enjoy during the year, from music, photography, filmmaking, craft, visual art, street art, carnival arts, dance, drama, and probably much, much more. And in front of the banner, on top of a sort of laser cut tablecloth, actually, which is covering up my musical instruments, we have our Teddy Tanny. Tanny is hoping to be able to wear a medal for the next week when she continues to take part in the virtual bear hunt. But she won't know until we've played our Clockwork Paralympics, which are coming up around halfway through the show. So, about halfway in, look out for the Clockwork Paralympics, and we'll tell you how you can join in from home. So, I'm Ju Gosling. I've got a self styled hennaed corona crop hidden, as is rather usual these days, under a hat. And this is a very wonderful hat that was described by the maker as a mermaid hat. And it's different stripes, greens, turquoises, sea blues, got a little bit of silver sparkle in it. I've got pale olive skin with green eyes behind black plastic glasses. I've got black plastic wrist braces and silver coloured jewellery. Well, mostly silver coloured jewellery. I've also got a hematite necklace with a turtle on it round my neck and a pewter necklace that's in the sort of print of an ammonite that's got some turquoise blue. And I've got a black t-shirt on which has got a silver crab on the front. And I am dressed up to go out to stay in to go see Shanty singing in New York. And I'm going to tell you all about that again in the second half of the show in the week ahead, where we go through our recommendations for things you can do at home, online and offline, and almost entirely for free. So, yes, there's going to be lots of shanties in the house this week. So I'm warning you and apologising in advance, Julie.
Something to look forward to, isn't it? I couldn't wear your blue necklace, you know. Do you know why? Because I can't pronounce the name of it. I'm Julie Newman. I'm the chair of Together 2012. Today I'm wearing a pork pie hat, which actually I like a lot. I have mid-length, not long like Tracy, but I have mid-length silver and gold hair. I'm wearing a red t-shirt. Oh, sorry, dark rim glasses. I'm wearing a red t-shirt, which is advertising an intergalactic garage. But the important part is it's a garage. It's got a motif in the middle, which is cream coloured, and it's got garage written in text. And there's a picture of a spaceship, a little rocket ship, old-fashioned, very stereotypical. And then good news, everyone. And then I can't read the small writing. I think black hole technology, something like that. But the important thing is that I'm going to a repair shop today. Not really, but in my mind I am, because there's assorted little items.
And large, assorted. She said,
assorted.
could you bring me up something from the repair table? Repair table now, I
So-
might add. And these are all the things that the cats have broken since
So-
the beginning of lockdown, where we keep saying, or indeed things that have arrived broken already on eBay.
And whoopsie daisy, coordinating with my t-shirt, the hands don't go round. And I'm really a bit uncertain about whether to risk taking the plastic cover off of the front, because there's no screws to access it from the back.
And indeed, she ordered a second one while one was broken. And guess what?
The
That
hands
broke
fell
as
off.
well.
Both hands actually fell off of that one, which was unfortunate.
So I don't know if it's really inspiring anybody to watch Repair Shop, which you can see on iPlayer. Now we're going to put the links for everything we recommend over the week ahead in our highlights and links page. That's on our website, www.together2012.org.uk. You can either go to the Together 2012 TV menu or follow the link from the Together 2012 main viewing page. And there's going to be copies of all of the poems, videos, images we show you, and booking links and further details of everything else. So if you haven't watched Repair Shop, it is actually quite fascinating. But it would be nice if somebody volunteered to start doing some repairs.
Well,
So
the cats and I will do our best.
yes, Julie may regret having chosen this particular dressing up outfit. But yes, I'm very much looking forward to singing sea shanties in New York, just one of the many joys of online living. So I'm going to tell you more about that later. But first, we're going to go on to the Pop-Up Poetry Club and enjoy some of the poems they've written this week. So the Pop-Up Poetry Club takes place on a Wednesday morning from 10:30 to 12, just as it used to do in person, but now we're on the phone. We phone you, put you on a group call in the sort of 10 minutes leading up to the start, and we pay for the calls. Unfortunately, you do now have to supply your own hot drinks and biscuits, but at least you have a choice. We stick to anything that you could get at the pound shop. So the Pop-Up Poetry Club has continued with great humour and some really great poetry. They write on a theme each week, people might prepare it beforehand, or there's a half hour, 20 minutes, half an hour to write in the middle when we call off and then call you back to share your poems. And at the beginning, as well as potentially doing some breathing exercises or some voice exercises, talking about poetry, people also share other poems they've found on the chosen theme. And this week's theme, as I understand it, was imaginary characters and a sort of story about an imaginary character. So who would like to go first and read a poem from one of our participants? And
I'll go first if you want. So I've got a poem by Dawn Barber, and it's entitled I'm Here for You. The rose says to the sunflower, are you okay? Yes, I'm very happy today. How are you? I feel a bit blue. Is that so? That's a shame. You smell divine and you look beautiful. Please don't feel sad. I'm here to keep you company, and we will stand together in a friendship forever.
oh, thanks, Tracy. That was great. And obviously, thank you, Dawn. So this is one from Alison Marchant. Alison is a locally based international installation artist, and she works 3 days a week leading our clubs program. None of us are full time because we're all artists, so we also need to be doing that. So this is called My Name is Alice. My name is Alice. I live in a Lancashire stone terrace. The back window looks onto the now disused cotton mill where I once worked. I started work at 14. If you were clever or whatever, you had to work there. It was a bit of a shock the first time I went in, the noise and the dirt and the fluff. We had to lie on the floor to sweep under the looms, and the fluff was deep, deep. Everywhere was covered in fluff, and it stuck to your clothes. I became a weaver amidst the thundering sound of looms in motion. We learnt sign language so we could speak to each other across the factory floor. I worked for years and luckily am very healthy, and the cotton mill closed, but I still live in my terraced house. Thank you, Alison, and apologies to Tracy because I thought you were intending to read that, and I got there first. I just had to stop myself this morning. Oh, yeah, though you would be very welcome to read Crystal Pieces, which you haven't prepared. Oh, I apologies for being distracted. I was going to add that I know from Alison that her ancestors were weavers in East London and also worked in the factories here. So I think that's why it appealed to Alison so much. Robin, I think you've got one for us.
I do. I'm going to start with one from Glory Sengo. This is called The People from Yorkshire. When I was at the seaside, I was swimming in the water, and I was speaking to friends from Yorkshire, and the water in the sea was cold. When we came out of the water, we were wiping ourselves, and we were sitting down, and we were talking to each other, and I was greeting my friends from Yorkshire, and we had chicken strips with chips.
That's really so evocative, and I know that's Glory being imaginative. He hasn't really been to Yorkshire, but I always like the inclusion of a bit of food. There's just something, and I think Glory usually does, finishes, what did we eat at the end of the day? And I think that is really important. Mm-hmm. Julie, do you want to read us yours?
Yes, indeed. Mine is called Rumble in the Forest. Mary the elephant thought she was tough. She stomped as she walked and looked really rough. Her hair hung in locks, dyed purple and red. She had lots of chains draped over her head. Bright green were her nails. Her lips, they were black. A torn denim jacket sat on her back. The creatures would scatter as she crashed by. The trees would shudder and birds filled the sky. The other elephants were embarrassed. They shrank away and hid in the forest. No one would chat or share cups of tea. Monkeys would run or cower in a tree. Jaguars, so proud, would stay out of the way. Nobody liked her or wanted to play. Mary wandered around, alone and blue. Then one day a kitten gave out a mew. The elephant paused with her foot held high. What creature was this? What noise was its cry? The kitten, called Ruth, said, "Please, will you help? I'm lost and alone," and it gave a big gulp. Mary looked down and thought, "What should I do?" Then smiled and asked, "What creature are you?" "It's me," said the kitten, "just little me, but cold and hungry and ready for tea." "Hop up," said Mary, "and we'll go and see. Let's find the cafe that's based by that tree." So up jumped the kitten and held on tight while they went to the tree, and what a sight! The tables were laid, food ready to eat, the plates piled high, oh, what a treat! So the pair sat down and eagerly ate sandwiches, cakes, and no crumbs on the plate. "I loved that," said Mary. "My, what a feast! In the whole forest there's no happier beast." Ruth looked up and smiled and said, "Me too. Let's go home together, just me and you." And all of the creatures heaved a big sigh. Monkeys played in the trees and birds flew by. No longer afraid, they relished the sight of Ruth, so small, sat on Mary's great height.
Wow.
Thank you, Julie. It reminds me of some of the stories I've heard of cats sitting on top of horses, although I think the closest we got to it personally today was when I looked up at the studio door and realised that the big black cat, Leo, was just sitting on top of the door, minding his own business. Tracy, I picked up the wrong pile of paper earlier. Would you like to read Crystal's?
Yes, that's fine. So Crystal Peasy has written the olden days. The olden days were old-fashioned. In the olden days, there was a lady whose husband was in the army. And in the olden days, there were no phones to call him, so she'd write a single letter. And the letter took ages to reach him. She was checking the post every morning. She would ask the postman or post lady if there'd been a letter for her. Her husband replied 1 year later to the letter he received from his wife. He said, "I am well and I'm happy." And the lady was very happy to have a reply to her letter.
Oh, thanks for that, Crystal. And of course, that kind of thing, really, well, of course, we've got so many families still separated by war and famine. And those letters really, really matter, don't they? I think you've got one more for us, Robin.
Indeed, I do. This is from Dwayne Bryan, and it's called The Birdman. The birdman flies up and down in my mind, hovers and glides through the town, constantly recurring in my dreams, in my mind, so free. So beautifully he floats through the air without a care. Seems like he will never stop. To me, he will never not. Why does the birdman always appear in my dreams? Sometimes I wonder, what does it all mean? Is it a sign of freedom? But still, it's a beautiful dream.
Oh, thank you, Dwayne. All of those poems will be up by 4 o'clock on the Thursday of the recording of the show on our highlights and links page. So now we're going to move on and have a look at work from the Together Art Club. The Art Club runs 2 sessions a week on a Tuesday and a Friday from 11 to 12 on Zoom. All of our clubs are open to all disabled people and anybody you want to have with you. And of course, it's self-defined. If you've got a learning difficulty, a long-term health condition, if you have mental health difficulties, you've got a physical impairment, it really doesn't matter. We're inclusive if you want to be part of our club's program. So do drop us a line. It's info@together2012.org.uk, or just follow the instructions on the website. We send you reminders.
Your sound has just dropped out.
Thanks for that, Robin. I'm fiddling around with a new microphone, so unfortunately I don't have full control of my hands, so I think I must have switched the button off. But still, it's a learning experience. So, as I was saying, the clubs are open to all disabled people, however you define. Look at the information on the website, drop us a line. We'd love to see you. Nobody has to join in every week. It's really about when you want to join in. So the still life, the art club on a Friday works on a still life, and Alison Marchant, our club's program leader, sets up an image which she shares on Zoom and also audio describes in case people can't see it properly or they're using a very small device. She can also send that image around by WhatsApp, email, or text. And then we put the image on the website so you can join in from home. You don't have to send us your photos, but we'd love to see them. So traditionally, we put this up on the website and ask Robin to audio describe it without seeing it first.
Ah, okay. Well, this is a very classy picture. It is it's a hat and a pair of gloves. The hat is a sort of peaked beret, or almost like a kind of army cap, with a golly, I can't think of what it's got. A peak. There you go, across the front, and it's in brown. In again a leopard skin. I mean, it wouldn't go amiss with Tracy's outfit, that's for sure. And that's just casually placed on top of a pair of very pale flecked woolen mittens, with one kind of half on top of the other one, and then the hat on top of that. It looks like someone's just ready to go out.
Thanks, Robin. And yes, that's the perfect still life, isn't it? When it tells its own story with just a couple of objects. So here is a beautiful drawing of said still life. I think it's a drawing that it's certainly pencil for the gloves. I'm not sure if there's some crayons or some pastels going on, and that is from Cheryl McClellan. This one is in felt tip and paint, and this is by Sophia. And this one is in coloured pencil. And I'm really struggling and desperately apologising in my mind at the same time. I don't know whether this is Lee Brooker's or the other one was Lee Brooker's, and this is Cheryl McClellan's. My piles of paper have got rather mixed up today. And then finally, this painted one is by Crystal Peasy. So thanks to everybody who shared their work from the Still Life session. Like I say, it's not compulsory. The image will be up if you'd like to have a go from home about 4 o'clock on Thursday on the highlights and links page. So the art club also meets on a Tuesday from 11 to 12 for a make and natter session. And really that's our most sociable club of the week. Although, as always, you don't have to be particularly social to join in. People either bring the projects that they're working on, which may be something that they've started in the club and got very keen on and have continued to develop, or they join in with an activity that Alison leads based on recycled materials. So it will always be based on something you already have at home. And I've just got a couple of images to share with you this week. Regular viewers may remember that Ellen Goody has developed a technique through some of the earlier work in the club, and she's developed something completely new where she's drawing around household objects, colouring them in with paints or crayons, cutting out the shapes, putting them onto other coloured papers. And this week, her friend came round and joined in as well. So this is the two of them. So on the right, they've both been drawing spoons, and on the right, Ellen is holding hers up and she's drawn the spoons on purple paper, coloured them in different colours, and then cut them out and stuck them onto red. And her friend has started off with blue paper. I think they've been using crayons or pastels, and he's cut them out and put them on yellow paper. And it's such an effective technique. We've been seeing how Ellen's been experimenting over the weeks with different utensils. Sometimes she's pasting the pictures so they sort of burst out of the frame. Other times, like this, it's sort of pretty much contained in the frame. So that's great. If you want to join in from home, the activity Alison is leading at the moment is Papio Mache, using again scrap paper, recycled paper, and also very effectively, and I've not seen it done before, recycled gift wrapping. And they're also experimenting with wrapping Papio Mache round recycled plastic pot, which just really extends what you can do with the things that you've made. So I'm just going to take that off now. What did you think of those, Tracy?
I thought they were really, really good, actually. I like the way they've progressed over the weeks, where they've used different things. Yeah, and the drawings were really good. Really good.
Yes, I mean, I think since we've started audio describing and been more consciously mindful in the still life sessions, it's really working well. And for anybody who fancies relaxing by doing some drawing, you know, then please do join us. Whatever you have at home is fine. It might be a pencil, it might be crayons, it might be paints, it might be felt tips. You might have more than one set of stuff, but even a pencil, you know, that's really all you need. It doesn't have to be coloured in. So look us up. Under the 2021 programme on our website, you can find details of all of the clubs with lots more information and, of course, details of how to join. But it's very simple. Just drop us a line and very, very quickly you'll have the links and be ready to go. We haven't got a craft activity with you this week, Tracy. You're going to be talking to us now about something that's more relaxing. Well, of course, craft is very relaxing as long as it's going well.
Yeah. Well, I thought on these cold winter nights of drawing in, and not that I'm going very far, but I thought I wanted something that I could just sit and do without having to do too much moving. So I do have a phone. I've got an iPhone. Never had a phone really until about 2 years ago. Never really wanted a phone. I was like, I don't need one. I don't go anywhere on my own. Don't go out. I don't need a phone. So Rodney persuaded me eventually to get an iPhone. So what I have found about my iPhone is that I can play games on my phone, which is good. I'm no good on the computer, but on my phone, I'm not too bad. I'm no good on the computer because I just haven't got the hand movements but on my phone, it's just my thumbs. So I've got into playing a few games on my phone. So this week, I thought I'd tell you about a game that I play, which is called Project Makeover. I do like the Makeover games. There's quite a lot out there. You can do houses, you can do clothes, you can do people. But the one I'm doing is a bit of a combination. It's available on both the iPhone and the Android phone at the app shop. It's free. With all of these games, you can always buy things. I've never, ever bought anything. I just managed to play it without buying anything. So if I have to watch an advert, then I watch the advert. But I'm not going to start paying to play games on my phone. Definitely not. So the one I'm talking about today is called Project Makeover. And there are some other simple games that you do, like matching games, matching the colours to collect shirts and glasses and things like that. And then when you collect those, they give you money, like pretend money for the game. And then that money is used then to do your makeover. So you start with the building, so you can decorate the walls, choose different carpets. You usually get 4 or 5 different options, which is something I quite like to do. So you get to decorate the room and choose all the different furniture and things, and then you get to make over the person, starting with their hair and that haircut, a shave if it's a guy, because I did one that was a guy who lived in his garage. At the moment I'm doing a rock star and making over their studio. Yeah, not yours. So yeah, I just like it. It's quite fun. It doesn't cost anything. Although I can get a little engrossed. I can then my phone will say, you've been online 2.5 hours this week. And I think, it's a bit much, but spread that over a week. It's only 20 minutes a day.
Could you not just install the app that tells you how long you've been online?
You're off
You've
again.
gone a bit low, Ju.
That's very odd because it's definitely switched on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Just about, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
That's good. Thank you.
that's good. Yeah. Sorry, Ju. What did you ask me?
Say if you can't hear my mic, and I'll just grab Julie's.
Yeah. No, you're fine now.
Might just be the wonders of the internet. No, I was going
Yeah.
to say perhaps you could just deinstall the app that tells you how long you've been online, and then you won't have to worry about having.
Oh, yeah.
But I think, particularly in these kind of very difficult times, there's something very calming about just having complete control over the environment. So, yes, I've just had a live chat saying it's a bit quiet, but we haven't touched anything. We literally haven't touched anything, so I'm not quite sure what is going on there. But what we're going to do next is pop on a very short video from our guest presenter, Sterre Ploeger. Sterre's not been with us for a couple of weeks, but here she is now, and she'll tell you herself what she's going to show us this week.
Hi, I'm Sterre, and this is Merlo, the dog. Me and Merlo, the dog, were lying on the ground, on the grass, with the dog, taking photos of my name, Sterre. It was good. Bye. Bye.
I hope you can hear me now. I haven't taken the mute off that time, but I thought that was so clever. Just to audio describe it for anybody who couldn't see it, Sterre and Merlo, who's such a well-behaved dog, were lying down making the shapes on the grass of different letters of her name and being photographed. And then she took the photographs and put, again, sort of collaged them on a piece of paper, and also wrote the letters and had some letter stickers. So anybody can do that. And of course, it doesn't have to be outside, but Sterre has been shielding in a barn in the middle of woods in Norfolk for about 14 months now. So we get our access to the outdoors through Sterre. So, Robin, I can see your teddy bear just cannot wait work Paralympics to start. Do you want to introduce it?
Yeah, today we have Ralph. Ralph is I would describe as a cookie coloured bear, I think. A very light brown, almost golden, with a dark brown nose and dark eyes, and is very, very soft and cuddly, and he's very friendly.
He certainly looks it. So I'm going to pass Julie Tanny. It's possible that in the virtual bear hunt that we're supporting, people are getting a little bit fed up of seeing Tanny, but she's just such a wonderful teddy. She was gifted to me for my birthday in May, and she's been competing ever since because she is an athlete bear, and obviously a Paralympic athlete bear. So she's sort of soft and honey coloured, just as soft and honey coloured as yours, But my teddy bear has also got a red sweatband, red and white trainers, a blue and white tracky top, and her own medal, which says Together 2012. So what we do every week, we race our clockwork toys and we try to decide I say we try to decide because I've now got to add in the Paralympics. Why don't you explain, Robin, while I'm pressing the buttons?
Okay, so every week, the London office represents London 2012, and the Birmingham office represents the Commonwealth Games of next year. And Ju has a collection of wind-up toys, some of which go in water, some of which go on land, some of which don't go at all. And every week we pit two of these clockwork toys of a similar style against each other in a number of different locations around the Together TV studios. And we choose one side of the screen and leave the other side to the losers. And then we watch the race and see if in fact we have correctly chosen the side of the screen. So I think this week we are going to choose the right hand side of the screen.
Okay, here we go.
Well, we've returned to the landing. This is the mosaic plinth track, we now know it as. It's kind of an aqua blues and stuff like lino mosaic, and it looks like we have meerkats ready to race. And look at them go. They are zooming. Oh, my goodness.
Yep.
Well, okay. Well, in fact, the right side did win there. That was a very, very quick race. That was a proper sprint. Just run. I've never seen athletes stop quite so abruptly. But well done to Birmingham yet again. Wow, what a wonderful time we're having.
Yes, I think it kind of sped up of its own accord. Like I said, we were having a few technical problems there. But the main thing is that, as usual, you managed to win. And this is a game of complete chance. And I film the races. So I don't know how you managed to win at least 2/3 of the time.
I would like to just say that Tanny just whispered to me that she thought that the London 2012 contestant had been impeded.
Only by the starter.
So what medal is your bear going to wear this week?
Well, actually, this week they're being awarded with a commemorative water bottle for the event. There we go. It's a lovely grey and red water bottle with a Japanese flowering motif on the front of it.
Well, I'm very impressed with your teddy bear wrangling skills, because mine would certainly require a number of rubber bands to wear those, whereas the great thing I find about a medal is you can just stick it around their neck. On the other hand, we have only got one medal here, which is our 2012 gold plastic one, and you Paralympians, you've got a house stuffed with medals. So let's move on and look at some of the things that we recommend for the week ahead. They're mostly online or on TV, and we'll have all of the links and details on our highlights and links page.
Yes.
And do you want to start?
Can you start just while I retrieve ours?
I certainly can. So I'm going to start with what I'm dressed in to do this week, which is to attend the virtual sea shanty sessions, which is in New York. It's organised by the Folk Music Society of New York and the Noble Maritime Collection, which I understand is a museum. And it's going to be streamed to the museum's Facebook page. So if you're not one of the first 100 people to book, you can also join in on Facebook. And yeah, it's 7 to 9 p.m. on Sunday night. Regular viewers will know that we not only enjoy lots of sea shanties because of Newham's shipbuilding and Docklands history, but we also have a couple of our own. So probably not to the great kind of enjoyment of the dogs. That's what I'm going to be doing on Sunday evening. Robin, what would you recommend?
Okay, I'm going to, following up on that wonderful success for Birmingham 2022, I'm going to actually put us towards a website, and I've entitled it "Explore the Queen's Baton Relay." But last week on Thursday saw the Queen's Baton unveiled at Buckingham Palace, and then on Friday of last week, was the beginning of the relay from Birmingham Airport. And at which I was a speaker, which was lovely. But essentially, the website is showing you the journey that the baton's going to be taking through 70 plus countries and territories and 90,000 miles. But the website has got loads in there as well, and I just think it's quite good to flag it up now, because although it talks about the baton journey, and it's got a countdown to the games, there's also a really big section on the making of the baton, and that's kind of really interesting, because there's a huge amount of artistry, creativity, and culture, and kind of representation of cultures that's gone into this baton, and it's, I think it's actually quite fascinating.
It is. I mean, I think I'm just piecing together in my mind the missing link for me, because I've never heard of the Queen's Baton. So this is almost the equivalent of the Olympic torch, and it's for the Commonwealth Games, which are taking place just up the road from you in 2022. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Sorry if I wasn't clear on that. I mean, it's got lots of gadgets in it as well. Whenever a runner is holding it, it takes their pulse and measurements, and it's got a 360 camera that's running all the time, feeding to wherever. So it's also creating a kind of massive document of the history of the relay as well.
Oh, what a fantastic idea. And it makes you instantly think, oh, goodness, they've really been missing something with the Olympic and Paralympic torches, haven't they? You know, the sort of Japan's such a sort of hotbed of technology, and yet it was the same old. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to look that up. Julie, what's your first recommendation?
The Natural History Museum have launched an exhibition of the Wildlife Photographer of the Year for 2021. It's an in-person exhibition. However, on the website, they've got a load of resources looking at some of the photographs from this year, the winners, and also looking at past history of the photographs from previous years. And they also have a pop-up section online about women photographers, which I thought was very interesting. I think the notable thing for me about the exhibition is the fact that it takes place in the main. The main photographs are in countries other than this one. So there's an international flavour to it, which means that we have a little snapshot, a little glimpse of wildlife throughout the world.
And I was interested to see, I don't know if it's the same exhibition, but a winning photograph was two fish effectively mating. And it's the kind of thing you can do in your own fish tank. But beyond that, as we talked about, you know, you can photograph your butterflies, you can photograph moths, there's all sorts of insects. You know, there's lots of wildlife without even having a garden. You can laugh, Robin. Fish they don't reproduce the way you're thinking.
I know. It was just the idea of us mating in the fish tank that got me.
I think you're on your own kind of. I think you're going off on your own little journey, and I'd like you to come straight back, please.
Me and Julie aren't saying anything, are we?
What do you recommend, Tracy?
Right. Well, I've gone to writing it down because it's a lot easier for me to remember because I fumble. Okay, so this week I'm actually recommending TV shows. So they are in the house, but yeah, I've gone to my comfort zone. So I found this week a new program because I like my competitive programs with the things I've been recommending. But this one is called Baking Impossible. It's found on Now TV, so you can watch it at any point.
Netflix.
Is it Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I've written it down as well. It's because I'm not looking. I'm looking at you. So it's on Netflix. and it's a show about baking and engineering. So what they do is they pair up a baker with an engineer, and then so they don't know each other, and then they've got a challenge to come up with different cakes that are also automated and animated cakes. It is a competition, so there's $100,000 to be won. And I've watched it, and it's actually really amazing how they've done it. So far, I've watched 2 episodes. The first episode, they had to make a boat that then had to be carried down a waterway by fans. 2 of the boats managed to make it. There's eight teams. 2 managed to make it out of the 8. The other 6 just went in the water and fell over. Then the second challenge was to do a robot cake, and then 90% of this has got to be made of cake. So that's pretty good in ingenuity. That's not the right word, is it? Ingenuity. But what I do like about it is it's the engine. A lot of the engineers on the program have been women. And I think it's a really, really positive role for kids. It's a rated as a youth, so it can be watched with the children. And I just think it's another great thing to expose your kids to, particularly your young women, because engineering is not known as a women's career. So I like that about it as well.
Yeah, and there's a huge amount of engineering goes into the arts. You know, we worked with Clarice Salandy from Mahogany Carnival Design, and her partner is an engineer. You know, that's how it comes together, engineering and design. I may watch it. What I find with Bake Off is I last 4 minutes and then I hit the biscuits. And by about 5 to 9, just as they're beginning to start their showstoppers, I go to sleep. And at 9:15, when it's all over, I wake up and I think, yet again, I had not seen their showstoppers. I did not know who's gone home. And when they did the gravity-defying cakes, I was, which I think they really did need an engineer for. I was so keen to see it. I didn't see one. And then I go, oh, well, I'll watch it again when I've got time on night, but the Channel 4 thing I find is not as easy to navigate iPlayer. So, yeah.
I'd recommend then you watch it in the afternoon if you've got a free afternoon. But yeah, I found it quite interesting.
I actually think that will make any difference. I'll have biscuits and go to sleep a bit earlier. But I would like to recommend on Tuesday from 6:30 to 7:30 online, there is a fascinating talk on uncovering the history of Black British mariners. And it's organised by Brent Cultural Service, which I imagine is what the libraries used to be the library service. And it talks about black seamen were a constant presence on Royal Navy ships throughout the 18th and 19th century, from enslaved crewmen to petty officers and even a ship's captain. And there's an author, S.I. Martin, who has written a fascinating book about this, and it's all free online Tuesday, 6:30 to 7:30. Robin, what have you got for us next?
I've got one that I must thank you for, Ju, helping me out with. And this one actually is part of Black History Year, actually, but of course it's still Black History Month, which is it's going to be some performances and discussion with somebody called George the Poet. And in fact, George is an award-winning podcaster. In fact, he won Podcaster of the Year last year. So he's a poet, but he's described as himself as a musical poet. Is of mixed heritage, but born in London. And he's currently doing a PhD at the University of Westminster, who are kind of housing this event. But it does look, his kind of way of delivering poetry is really innovative and really interesting. And so you're going to get to hear some of that, and then via Zoom, because it's on Eventbrite, but it's online, and you can actually ask questions if you're lucky enough.
And that's your favourite poet, isn't it, Julie? Yeah. So Julie will be going to that. When is it again, Robin?
I'm sorry. Yes, it's on Tuesday evening at 6:30 till 7:30.
So I will be uncovering the history of Black mariners. Well, Julie is with George the Poet. assistance dogs, I think, will be resting in their crate. What have you got for us next, Tracy?
Right. Another TV program that has caught my eye that I've been watching, and it's called The Nethers, and that sounds on Now TV. Thank you. Or Sky Atlantic, depending on what if you have an additional TV package. So it's set in the 18th century, so it's all sort of the Victorian times. And I love the clothes from that era. So I watch it for the show, but I also watch it for the clothes because I really do enjoy looking at the clothes. Would like to wear that sort of clothes if I could. And it's about women who we don't know how yet, that have acquired these different abilities. So they've got different abilities, whether that's foreseeing or being able to move objects. So it's quite interesting to know where it's going to go. And as usual, anything to do with something that's different, the men and the powers that be are afraid of the women and, want the other to control them. That the women are working their best to sort of help people to understand what the abilities are and the good that can be used with the abilities. So yeah, only watched a few of those so far, but it's definitely caught my imagination, and I'm going to be watching a few more. And that is that one you can watch at any point?
Yeah.
So it's a series. So like most of these series, you can just watch as many episodes as you want. You don't have to wait for the following week.
Brilliant. I will try and catch up on that. I've got Now TV because I realised I could get the Sky channels for literally a third of what I was paying Sky for them earlier. And, but as I always say, for anybody who's thinking, oh my God, how does she think I can afford £10 a month? I watch 90% of the time I watch iPlayer, which is entirely free. What do you recommend next?
The Museum of the City of New York has got a really wonderful online resource celebrating Black History Month, and I really recommend it because it's not just about the history, but it's also about contemporary issues. But Black art really influenced the nation, and as well as Chicago, New York was a centre for it. It's really worth looking at.
Because I believe Black History Month is a different month in the US, but the resources are still there. That's right, isn't it? Is there anything else from Sutton Coldfield?
Yeah, a very quick one. Another Eventbrite listing. It's called How to Write an Album a Year with Ease. Now, as a songwriter and a musician, I'm going to be very keen to watch this. This is actually on Tuesday again, but it's at 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 till 11:30. So I might actually get to go to this one. It says it's a free workshop to discover 4 essential tips for songwriting that'll change the way you write songs forever, and empower you to become the artist you've always wanted to be. Well, great, because then I can afford a bigger car.
We should send Adele as well, so we didn't just get an album every 5 years. My last recommendation is a literary one, and it's being organised jointly by Inclusion Barnet, which is a disabled people's organisation in North London, and Barnet Libraries, who still call themselves libraries. And there's an award-winning author who I'm afraid to say I haven't heard of before, but she's won lots of awards. Her name is Claire Fuller. And her latest book is called Unsettled Ground, which the Times describes as her strongest yet, a powerful, beautiful novel that shows us our land as it really is, a place of shelter and cruelty, innocence and experience. So that includes, she's going to be in discussions with the South Frion Library manager, Nick Black, for about 45 minutes, and then there's going to be a 15-minute Q&A where you join in from home, and a prize for the best question, which I thought was something that should really be encouraged. I've not seen it done before, but it's an idea I certainly might nick myself in the future. So that brings us almost to the end of today's show, but we're going to be played out which we haven't been for some time now, with a live song from Robert Sturgeon, also known as Angry Fish. I think you want to turn your desk down a little bit before you start singing, and I know Tracy's going to say goodbye, and we're going to say goodbye as well. The edited version of this show goes online at 6 o'clock on a Thursday. The auto captions are processed by YouTube more or less within a couple of hours. But by Friday, the show is definitely as good as it's going to get, because unfortunately, we no longer have funding for real life live captions produced by a human being. But if you're having problems accessing the show, please do let us know, because there's always things that I'm sure we can do to improve. In the meantime, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned. It's Robin Sturgeon, also known as Angry Fish.
Well, hi everybody. So I've had to apply my regular glasses, otherwise I can't read what I'm singing. So this is something I threw together this morning, actually. So if it goes horribly wrong, I do apologise. But we talk about well-being and self-care, and this song is called Just a Little Care. Let me tell you a story that needs to be told. Come sit, come listen, while your world still revolves. We all need to know we've got a place to go, a place to find your own resolve. But in the end, we all need a friend to hold you tight when you need to mend. 'Cause everybody has moments of pain. 'Cause everybody needs loving, not shame. So use these words to embrace anew. Show that love will battle on through. Fill the heart of a widow. Bring hope, not despair. And see that you can change a life with just a little care. Hold them tight. Shine a light. Guide them through the storms of loss. We feel safe through the night. Hold them tight. Shine a light. Guide them through the storms of loss. so we feel safe through the night. Hold them tight. Shine a light and guide them through. Thank you. Have a great week.